Hello everyone. We are the group 6 and today we are going to discuss emotional disturbance. Presenting yours truly, Razel Bolgado, followed by Mary Joy Garde, Julian Padilla, and Trudy Pahilga. Hello everyone. I am Razel T. Bolgado and I'm going to discuss the definition of emotional disturbance. In our own understanding, balantaman nga ang emotional disturbance is difficulties in handling or managing our emotions and behavior nga ga-impact sa aton ability to learn and to interact with others. It can include problems like feeling very sad, struggling to make friends, or acting inappropriately in different situations. Well, according to the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act or IDEA, emotional disturbance includes a condition exhibiting one or more of the following characteristics over a long period of time and to a marked degree that adversely affects educational performance. These characteristics are first, inability to learn, struggling to learn in school for reasons not related to intellect or health. Next is relationship issues, difficulty in making or keeping friendships with peers and teachers. Next is inappropriate behavior or acting in ways that are not suitable in normal situations. Mood problems, feeling consistently unhappy or depressed. And lastly, physical symptoms, experiencing physical issues or fears linked to personal or school stress. For more information by the National Alliance on Mental Illness, emotional disturbance is as well a mental health issue where a person has trouble managing emotions which affects their ability to interact socially and perform academically. Lastly, from the Council for Children with Behavioral Disorders definition, emotional disturbance applies to emotional or behavioral responses in school programs so different from appropriate age, cultural, or ethnic norms that the responses adversely affect educational performance, including academic, social, vocational, or personal skills. Which means ang emotional disturbance is the way mag-behave ang student sa school nga iba sa gina-act or behave ka iba nga student lalo na sa ilang age.
Now, let's move on to the types and traits of emotional disturbance. Anxiety disorder. Anxiety disorders are like having a super strong worry button that gets you pushed too easily. You might feel scared or nervous about things that most people don't, and it can make you want to avoid those things. Your body might even react with physical symptoms like sweating or shaking. In that scenario, this student likely experiences test anxiety, a common form of anxiety disorder. The fear of failure and judgment associated with tests triggers intense worry, physical symptoms like sweating or trembling, and the desire to avoid the stressful situation altogether. The student may feel overwhelmed by the pressure of the test, leading them to believe that avoiding school is the best way to manage their anxiety. Depression. Depression is like having a dark cloud hanging over you all the time. You might feel really sad, lose interest in the things you used to enjoy, and have trouble sleeping or eating. These students' depression has taken away their usual enjoyment of social activities. They may have lost interest in activities they once enjoyed, feel emotionally drained, and have difficulty engaging with others. This withdrawal can be a symptom of depression as the student may feel overwhelmed by social interaction or lack the energy and motivation to participate. ODD or the oppositional defiant disorder is like having a constant argument going on inside your head. You might feel disagree with grown-ups a lot, not follow rules, and try to get back at people. People with ODD is like seeking control and power, feeling a need to challenge authority figures. This behavior often stems from feelings of anger, resentment, and a lack of trust in adults. They may also be struggling with self-esteem issues, believing that asserting dominance is the only way to feel valued. Conduct disorder. Conduct disorder is like having a hard time controlling your actions. You might hurt others, break rules, and lie a lot. In that scenario, These students' actions demonstrate aggression and disregard for rules. They may engage in behaviors that harm others or property. Person with conduct disorder may exhibiting aggression, rule violations, and deceitfulness, often lacking remorse for others' actions. These behaviors can be rooted in various factors, including a history of trauma, dysfunctional family dynamics, or underlying mental health condition like ADHD or depression. Bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder is like having a roller coaster of emotions. You might feel super happy and energetic one minute, then super sad and tired the next. These changes can happen quickly and be very intense. These student experiences extreme shifts in mood, going from periods of high energy and enthusiasm to prolonged periods of sadness and fatigue. During the manic phases or the high energy and enthusiasm, they may have increased energy, racing thoughts, and impulsive behavior. This is followed by prolonged periods of depression marked by sadness, fatigue, and loss of interest in activities.
Hello again. I will discuss the rest of the characteristics or types of emotional disturbance. Number 6 is post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD. PTSD results from experiencing trauma, leading to significant emotional distress and impairment in daily functioning, which qualifies it as an emotional disturbance. So, one scenario or example is that kung kang gamay mo, naka-experience ka nga nabunggaan ka, tabok sa pedestrian, kag naka-survive after a week in the hospital. Kung after pagwa mo sa hospital, you're still afraid or gabalik ang memory once makakita ka pedestrian or sarakyan or makabati ka words nag-relate sa accident ka natabo kanimo. Next is phobia. Phobia causes excessive anxiety and distress, disrupting a person's ability to engage in normal activities, thus fitting the emotional disturbance category. Example, if may school trip pero sa gubat man be i-held, hindi ka maka-attend, hay super nahadlo ka sa mga damang mapadako mandan o gamay. Next is selective mutism, the number 8. This condition reflects extreme anxiety in social context, leading to emotional and social difficulties, aligning it with emotional disturbance. One example, if ikaw nga bata, iba ang aura mo kag modo mo sa balay ninyo, kumbaga masadya ka dito, wakalan, pero pag abot sa school, hipuson ka. One reason is that basta hindi ka comfortable or hindi mo bet ang vibe ka school or the persons around you. So, number 9 is obsessive-compulsive disorder or OCD. OCD involves anxiety-driven thoughts and behaviors that interfere with daily life, marking it as an emotional disturbance. Some of us makarelate kini sa OCD, arang naka-answer naman kita katanan-tanan tang assignments, kung nasabtan man naton mayad hay na matita or hapos lang ang assignment, pero kailangan tagid nga ibalik-balikan hay daw na anxious kita if base may sala or kung sa math man base bala ang positive daging negative, if sa art kung law ay ang drawing or penmanship ta sige gisi lang kang papel kag liwat nga liwat causing sometimes nga madelay kita sa pagbasahay. Next, number 10 is anorexia nervosa. This eating disorder kaka-feel or involves emotional distress regarding body image and self-worth. For example, ikaw sakto man lawas mo, pero dahil lang nambalan ka ka-friend mo nga tambo ka, may buyon, exercise to, bisan halos na nagkuon man or halata man sa lawas mo nga sakto-sakto ka lang, pero wala kayo nagkakaon regularly, gadayat, kaga-exercise. Kumbaga, anxious ka. Next is the bulimia nervosa, number 11. Bulimia nervosa causes emotional turmoil and guilt related to eating behaviors leading to distress and dysfunction, though parehas lang siya sa anxious nervosa. For example, is sa mga gakaon patago or rako-rako pagkaon biging bakal mo, kaging kaon, tapos dagol piyada mo lang na-realize or naging untatan, hay base gulpi ka maghanggod or may bad effects sa lawas mo, ang ginakaon mo, causing you nga isuka or i-jabs ang tanan mo nga kinaon. Next, number 12, schizophrenia. People with schizophrenia may have trouble distinguishing between what is real and what isn't, experience delusions, false beliefs, hear voices, or feel very disorganized. Example, kung ang person nakabati voices nga hindi man mabatian ka iba, this can make them feel scared or confused, affecting their ability to concentrate in class. Lastly, Tourette syndrome is a motor and vocal tics that are involuntary means biglaan or what. For example, is some person nga may Tourette syndrome gaka-experiences anxiety, social difficulties, or emotional distress due to their movements or tics nga di nila mapunggan that affects their emotional well-being and educational performance. That's all, thank you.
Good morning everyone, I am Julian S. Padilla and now we will tackle about the challenges faced in the classroom. First is academic difficulties. A student might struggle to pay attention, get their work done, or understand what they are learning, leading to poor academic performance and challenges in completing schoolworks, because having emotional disturbances can make it difficult to concentrate. They might be distracted by worries, feel overwhelmed by tasks, or have trouble processing information. Additionally, these difficulties can affect their motivation and self-esteem, further hindering their academic performance. Second is social interaction issues. It's hard for students with emotional disturbance to make and keep friends. They might worry about being judged, have trouble understanding social cues, or struggle to express themselves appropriately. This can lead to feelings of isolation, which can further worsen their emotional state. Third is behavioral problems. Emotional disturbances can lead to impulsive behaviors or it's hard for them to control their emotion. When students feel overwhelmed, frustrated, or angry, they might lash out, disrupt class, or disobey rules. These actions can often be a way of coping with their emotional distress, but they can also lead to further isolation and disciplinary action, creating a vicious cycle. Fourth is emotional regulation challenges. Students with emotional disturbances might have difficulty recognizing, understanding, and managing their emotions. They might react intensely to stress, struggle to control their impulses, and have trouble calming themselves down. This can lead to outbursts, conflict with peers, and difficulty engaging in learning activities. Fifth is communication barriers. A student might have trouble explaining how they feel or asking for what they need. They might struggle with verbal communication, making it difficult to express themselves clearly. They might have trouble articulating their thoughts and feelings, or they might avoid talking about their struggles altogether. This can lead to misunderstandings, frustration, and a lack of support. Sixth is inconsistent attendance. Students having a hard time to go to school regularly because of anxiety or depression. They might feel overwhelmed, anxious, or unable to cope with the stress, leading to frequent absences. This can further hinder their academic progress and social connections. The last challenge is limited access to support. Stigma, lack of understanding, and limited access to mental health resources can prevent students from getting the help they need. They might be afraid to seek help, feel ashamed of their struggles, or not know where to find support. This lack of support can perpetuate the cycle of challenges, making it harder for students to overcome their difficulties.
Good day, I am Trudy Delacruz Behaga and I am going to report the modifications and accommodations for inclusion in emotional disturbance. So first is personalized learning plans. Develop individualized educational plans or IEPs that address a specific emotional and behavioral needs. Like for example, in the classroom with personalized learning plans, a student who struggle with anxiety may have a specific strategies in place to help them relax and focus when feeling overwhelmed. The next one is flexible classroom environment. Create a classroom environment that allows for breaks and provides a safe space for students to manage their emotions. Example of this is with a flexible classroom environment, a student who becomes easily agitated can take a short break in designated calm down area or corner before returning to the lesson. The next one is supportive teacher relationships. Build strong supportive relationships with students to provide stability and trust. Example for this is building supportive teacher relationships allows students experiencing emotional turmoil to confide in a trusted adult and seek guidance on how to cope with their feelings. The next one is counseling and support services. Provide access to school counselors or psychologists who can offer support and coping strategies. Example for this is through counseling and support services. A student dealing with depression can access the help they need to navigate their emotions and develop healthy coping mechanisms. The next is and teacher collaboration. Work closely with parents to ensure consistency between home and school strategies for managing emotional disturbance. For example, collaborating with parents can ensure that students with emotional disturbance receive consistent support at home and at school, creating a unite front addressing in their needs. The next is visual and auditory support. Incorporate visual aids and auditory cues to reinforce learning, helping students with emotional disturbance better process for information and stay focused, which can mitigate stress. But example for this is by incorporating visual and auditory supports, a student who struggle to stay focused can use these tools to better process information and stay on track with learning. The last one is structured routines. Create clear, predictable routines to give students with emotional disturbances a sense of security, helping them managing anxiety and improve their ability to navigate the school environment. For example, having structured routines in place provide a sense of stability for students with emotional disturbances, helping them to feel more grounded and safe in their school environment.